where we challenge the beliefs that keep hustlers hustling but never building and expose the principles behind money, leadership, relationships, and entrepreneurship. Today, got a special episode, man, and it's one that kind of resonates really deep, I believe. Survival. Mm-hmm. How do you know when you're building a life versus just surviving in life, financially surviving in life? Is there a difference in this day and time?
There's a big difference.
What would you say the difference is between building and surviving?
Building is when you can look 5 years from now and know you'll have something, right? But surviving is once you get a bill today, when you're working, right? Mm. And let's say you getting paid Friday.
Right.
Before the money even touches the account, you already know where the money going at. So by the time the deposit hits, the money already gone. So after that, you have nothing else. So surviving is just going day to day, hoping, hey, maybe I have enough to pay this, maybe I have enough to pay that. But when you're building, you know this investment that you just did, you know 5 years from now, it'll benefit you and your family. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you surviving, you just taking a chance. You just taking a big risk. It's not calculated.
Do you feel like the average person knows that that's what they're doing? Do they feel like they're building something, or do they know that, okay, well, I'm just trying to get by? Do they see trying to get by as building?
If you don't have the knowledge of building, yeah.
I don't think so. Yeah.
You feel like the average person that's just surviving knows that they're just surviving, or do they?
I don't think they know that they're surviving. I think they just feel like that's life.
Yeah.
And this is life for me. This is what, I don't think they have a concept outside of what's going on with them right then and there. I don't think so. Especially if nobody ain't showing them, especially if everybody, their environment around them is doing the same things that they're doing. So I don't think that they look at it as I'm building. You're gonna have a few that come outside that box, but the majority, I don't think so. So that's why when income tax come around, they're more excited. Because it's just, and income tax ain't nothing but a few thousands more than what you normally get from your paycheck. Yeah. But all of a sudden, you're just a little bit more excited just for that period of time, and then it's back to regular routine because you feel like that's regular routine to you. So I don't think, you don't look at it as my bill. As long as my kids is taken care, the people that say that, as long as my kids take care, my bills is paid, that could be still survival.
That's facts. Oh. And so I guess it boils down to what is taken care of. You say, as long as my kids are taken care of, as long as my bills are paid. What does that mean, though?
Yeah, that's a good question because you could just take care of it for that month, and then the next month you got to figure out how to take care of it again. So I think that's the difference between a survival and building. Once it's built, then once you have an establishment built, and then you figure out how to make it better or how to build more to it. With survival, it's almost like a nomad. You don't really know exactly, or it's like a person who don't have a place to live. You just traveling, hoping that you find a new spot to survive through that night or to build through that night, rather than a person rather than a person who built something, built the foundation, and then maybe the next day, week, or month, they find out how to make that building structure stronger, more durable. And you take that same principle and apply it to like a business. You could build a business, and then you find out how to make the business better, or you could just hustle to make some money that day, that month, that week, that year, and then you don't know what's to come the next, venture.
So you say what's taken care of me? Because I've heard that concept from my mom a lot, and I've heard that, as long as you're taken care of. And I assume that they mean that, a roof over your head, food in your stomach, clothes on your back. Typically, I think that's where they put that in. Anything outside of that is extra. That's what you would see.
Those immediate requirements.
Yeah, those immediate requirements. Mm-hmm.
But see, this is where the problem kicks in, though, man. This is where the problem kicks in. Because what happens when you got a lot of people that think like that? What ends up happening? That becomes normal. Mm-hmm. That becomes the standard. Yeah. And survival in essence, especially we know for sure in our community, within the black community, survival is the standard. Survival is normal. As a matter of fact, survival is glamorized. And it's all about the hustle. It's all about the come. That's why the come up has so much prominence, right? Because the come up is supposed to represent I overcame survival, right? I have to, if we boiled it down to its essence, right?
Yeah.
That's what the come up is supposed to say. I overcame survival. I overcame the bottom, right? But just imagine this: you making money, you work hard, you have more than one way or a few ways that you can make money, beside from the generation that came before you. So why does it feel like you're barely getting ahead in life, even though you got all of that stuff laid out? Let's say that you chose last week we talked about the college route. Let's just assume, hypothetically, you chose to go the college route and you decided to study engineering. You got a job fresh out of college making $100K per year. How is it possible that you can go from graduating college to making $100,000 a year and yet still feel as if you're barely getting ahead?
Yeah. But I think that goes to one key thing, that no matter that I'm making more, is because I don't really know what to do with it. So it still goes back to the financial literacy, you know what I'm saying, understanding money, period. Because we're making more, but you assume it's the same thing. I remember when I was much younger, the same stuff used to happen. Like anytime income tax come around, like lifestyle would get better for us. Like we'll probably have haircuts back to back, a couple of fresh shoes to come in, you know, maybe even a new TV would come in the house.
Some games.
So now we acquired more things, but it don't necessarily mean that you remove yourself from a struggle, because all you did was just say, all right, let's make a little bit more money. But then all we did with making a little bit more of that money was that we just tied the money right back up into acquiring some new bills.
Kind of just pampered it.
So it don't really like.
So
that's
it's
why.
inflated.
Yeah, that's it.
know?
So that's the reason why, because you probably don't have the information on like, okay, well, boom, I was living off of 50,000. Maybe if I make an extra 50,000, I probably should not increase the lifestyle. Which increased lifestyle means to people is just do things.
An extra 50,000 in a year? And you tell somebody not to increase their lifestyle?
Yeah, maybe that should have been taught. I mean, even if it was
I dare
extra
you tell
10,
me
but
that.
I mean, that's the thing. Maybe that should have been taught to us, that you can still, if your car still works. I remember, you ever heard this saying before? The thing that you don't touch on your car, if it never give you a problem, is the transmission. Because transmission could arrive sometimes 20 years without you having to touch it. And I think with that concept, with us living, if your car still works, now quite frankly, there's some nuances with this, but let's just assume that your car is working, you're going from point A to point B, and nothing has changed outside of that besides you just got more money, but you're still able to go from point A to point B, right? So, so now that we're
6.
what that is?
Kid from Miami, 6 out.
Who?
I don't know his name.
Nervous.
A gangster.
Help.
Nah, man. But man, I kind of lost my point on the
You were talking about
Oh yeah, with acquiring more money, you're probably not taught to don't increase your lifestyle. Like at a younger kid, like when you got allowances, you was fine before allowances came. When allowances came, you was quick to go to the store. So who taught us at that moment take the money
value
to go
of a dollar.
Nobody taught you. Just all you know is as soon as I get it, oh nah, you could not have it for a whole year. But as soon as somebody said, oh hey, here go $10, buddy. Immediately you went, not to say, let me try to make this $10 turn to 20. You took the $10 and went and spent it.
Yeah,
So that just taught to us all the way when we get much older. So, because as long as everything else is still fine, if everything else is still fine, we don't really look to try to We don't look to try to change that. So I think that's where it goes at. But people don't look at it. I don't think it's struggling, bro. It has become normalized. They don't think it's struggling anymore.
That's so messed up, man. It really is. It really is, because that point that you mentioned, that those types of skills are not taught. So what happens? Well, that lack of understanding compounds. It compounds because those kids turn into adults. So that, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, that was training.
Yeah.
When your mom or your dad or whoever gave you $1, you was encouraged to go to the store. If you were told, oh, mom, can I get this candy bar? Oh, when you get your own money, then you can get it.
For sure.
You hear things like that, right? Or when you get your own money, then you can do this for yourself. And when you get your own money, you can do that for yourself. These are the skills that were instilled inside of the minds of our people as we were coming up. And needless to say, that's not good training. It's not good training. You're not taught, boy, hey, listen, I'm gonna give you this $1. So what you're gonna do is you're not gonna spend this $1. You're gonna take this $1, you're gonna tuck it away. You don't spend this $1 until you get $10. Once you get $10, then you can spend $1. That's a skill too. You're teaching your child how to save. You're teaching them the value of $1. But you don't teach them that. You say, well, hey, if you got money, go use your money to buy this. That's kind of blank and vague. And the more vague and ambiguous the advice is, well, the more risk that you take of that child trying to figure things out on their own.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even, go ahead.
Now, I was gonna say, I remember back in middle school when chips was like $0.25, and I had $1, and I know, okay, well, I could go to the store and get 4 bags of chips, right? Or I see people sell chips in school, 50 cents. Now they put an extra quarter on it because of convenience. You can't get it unless you buy it from me right now. So I could take this $1, go buy 4 bags of chips, sell them for 50 cents, and double my profit. That means I could buy chips and still have money, and I could recoup that, keep doing that cycle. Nah, that's worse. That's better than just having money, spending it, asking my parents for more money, or I can just take this money and invest it. So that's like a little small investment of how to get some money coming back.
That's an excellent point, bro. So it starts off with hustle.
Yeah.
So hustle is good to a point.
Yeah.
Facts.
It's not that hustle does not have value. Hustle is valuable to an extent, to a point. Okay? So just like you said, I got the chips. The chip costs $0.25. I sell the chips for 50 cents. I just made my quarterback plus an extra 25 cents. You see how the game goes? So I can go and buy another bag of chips with that quarter and sell that for 50 cents. So every transaction, I'm adding another quarter to my stash with every transaction that's taking place, right? Now what happens is, along with the hustle, you have to learn systems. You need to learn scale. You need to learn organization. You need to learn ownership. You need to learn reserves and relationships, assets, all of the stuff that compounds, right? Because that's cool. Yeah, you sell a bag of chips, you buy a bag of chips for $0.25, you sell it for 50 cents. You just netted $0.25, right? And then you just take that same quarter and keep buying it, or you take those 2 quarters and buy, some more chips. You know what I mean? And you just keep that process going and going and going and going. After a while, you're gonna need a system to manage that. Shout out to all the people that have been tuned in. Now, if y'all resonating with what we're saying, y'all go ahead, share the live, throw some hearts in the chat, share the live, and let everybody know what's happening. It's the Revenue Revelation. So, if you've been hustling for 10 years, give or take 10 years, and you can't stop hustling, at what point do you admit or acknowledge that the hustle is not working?
Yeah, I don't think they would admit that.
I don't think so, but that's the culture. If you spend it, you can get it right back.
And just like you said, the survival mode, they don't know that they're surviving, so that hustle seems like it's keeping them afloat, not knowing that it's a means to an end. So they don't see it as, okay, well, I'm hustling, but I don't see further than me hustling right now. They just see, okay, I'm hustling, I made it through the month. I'm hustling, I made it through the week. I made it through the year. So this is working for me. They don't see past that to say, okay, well, no, I need to up my game up. I need to network with some more people. I need to reinvest more in myself. They just saying that, okay, I made it through the year, so whatever I'm doing must be working.
So they good at paying bills.
Well, ultimately,
paying bills, a little vacation
or
here.
they good at re-ing up, have enough money to re-up. So, for those who just hustle without any structure, they good at re-ing up.
Because that's valuable to them. remember coming from where you come from. If now I'm able to do that,
Yeah.
cause it's
You the man.
just remember income tax happened come around. You're a little bit more excited. So if I could do a little bit better, you know, so because I don't think that's why when they look at rich people, it's like it almost always seems like that conversation come out that you greedy. It almost seems like, oh yeah, they greedy, they got so much, because we taught in a box, so it's almost get taught to cap. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, yeah, I did an extra 10 grand, you know, and to me that's great. You know, that's actually pretty solid. So, but you got people that's visionaries that think, no, extra 10 grand, that's peanuts. People tell us, you made $1 million, that's peanuts. You made $1 million, okay, cool. That's the bottom of the totem pole in business.
The bottom.
You feel me? So, but now when you get around minds and talk like that and give you that, wow, you know, these people that made $100 million and they still grow. So I think that's the issue right there. The fact that you capped at your thinking capacity of what should be better. Hey, if I could come on the same block that I grew up on, and everybody riding Toyotas, everybody riding Altimas, but I got a Benz. I'm a little bit better. You feel me? My house is a smidge bit bigger. I got a pool in my backyard. You don't. So it's a deeper issue than, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a deeper issue than just hustling itself. Because like you say, you ask like, do it get to a point where it stops? I think that's a yes and no though. Because like in everything that you do, although you get systematized and you operate it better and you get much more knowledge, hustle gonna still always be in there. You're gonna still have to fix some type of way. There's gonna be a hurdle that you're gonna have to figure out where you're gonna have to resort back to some type of hustle. It's like laboring too. You know, do you get to a point where you don't touch a thing at all? Yes and no. You know, every now and then I think you still gonna have to come back and touch something. You know, you can set things up so great that you, for the most part, not. But I think hustle is just that it's glorified. You know, and so you get stuck in that boat right there because you don't know any information outside of the hustle. That's why. And you think that, okay, well, hey, as long as I ain't working a 9 to 5, see, that's a psychological issue, because working a 9 to 5 means that you depend on a white man. You feel me? So I think that's, as long as I could go outside of that, thinking of depending on a white man, I'm doing it myself. Oh, I'm better. Most of us that come from this area, we depend on the white man, essentially, or whatever. Go work a 9 to 5. However you want to, most of them are owned by, you know what I'm saying, predominantly a lot of the white race. So I think that's why it gets capped right there. Until you get around some new information that you think that's actually trying to help you. And then like us, for example, when we got around new information, we realized like, well, $1 million ain't nothing, man.
You remember we went to the WellCon, Grant Cardone, the 10X, and he said that you could make $1 million and you could have one lawsuit and wipe you out. Yeah. So it don't matter, you know, how people get the mindset, oh no, you being stingy. No, you actually think about building something, because you can make $10 million and have a $5 million lawsuit. Now you back down. But if you steadily thinking, how can I build more, just in case a problem happens, somebody gets sick, and you gotta cough up a bunch of money. Not just to have a bunch of money, but the money is used as a valuable tool, a valuable, you know, care package in case something happens. So it's not about just accumulating a lot of wealth. It's for that what if. So you don't, you know, like you said, cap your mind that, okay, I made 10 million. Okay, well, what if you get a $9 million lawsuit? Now you're down to $1 million. What do you do next?
I think that a good correlation to this would be building a house or structure, right? When a hustler is stuck in the now. A hustler is in the mode of right now, right? As opposed to a builder. Think about what a builder has to take into consideration. What does a builder has to think about, right? Is a builder concerned about the right now, or is the builder building for the next 20 to 30 years, right? Think about a person that builds a house. What's some of the steps that they got to go through? They got to go and talk to the architect, right? The architect is going to say, well, hey, listen here. Here are some plans that you can utilize that, you know, these are already approved by the city, the county, the state, whatever. Boom, you can use any one of these plans. So the builder is looking at the plan, reviewing the plan, saying, hey, okay, cool. So the best way for me to execute this, I need to find a location for this house. right? Go find the location. This would be a perfect location for this house. The lot is a decent size, right? Let's say that the lot is 8,000 square feet. So you got an 9,000 square foot lot, and the house that you're gonna build is 2,500 square feet. That's a nice little size. That's a decent sized property right there. So the builder is saying, okay, well, I need to take my costs into consideration. I need to take my supplies into consideration. I need to take my labor into consideration because I want to build this house within this amount of time frame. And when I build this house, I want to make sure that it's up to code because we live in South Florida. We got hurricanes that's going to be coming through. So you can't build the house out of wood. You got to build it out of brick. You know what I mean? You got to take all of these things into consideration. What if a fire starts? What if there's a flood or something? You're building the house to protect yourself or whoever's going to be living in the house to a degree from those elements. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what happens in the transition from a hustler to a true entrepreneur, to a true builder, right? The hustler is caught up in the now. You caught up in what is happening to you right now. You're putting out the fires that are immediately around you right now. Where the builder is planning for the next decade. The builder is planning for the next 2 to 3 decades.
So are you basically saying hustlers don't plan ahead? They don't see the future?
I'm not saying that they don't see it. What I'm saying is that they are not, farsightedness is not the most important thing to them at the time. Mm-hmm. And for understandable reasons. If you hustling, that means that you struggling. You struggling. That means that this was a route that you chose that provided you what you felt was the best return for the circumstances that you had. I mean, because let's be quite honest. Let's just, not that this is not the best example, but let's just use this one just for using its sake. You grew up in the projects. Let's say you grew up in the Beans, right? You grew up in Edison. You grew up in whatever, in Seminole, something like that. I don't know. You grew up in the projects, right? And everybody around you moves that stuff, mm-hmm. right? Everybody around you talks about moving that stuff, mm-hmm. right? So your idea of success comes from your environment. That's where it comes from. The people that you see. So what you see the dope boys do, they riding around, they got the rims on their cars. Y'all remember back in the days when the Escalade was the big thing? Mm-hmm. Escalade was the big thing. You had the big Escalade, the EXT with the spinning rims, the Louis Vuitton interior, you had the TVs in there, right? Mm-hmm. As a kid, that's very influential to you, right? Mm-hmm. And you look at that and you say, what?
I want that.
I want that. You used to even say, that's my car.
Yeah.
Or you had all these different types. You say bingo or complete. Or you had little games that you would play where you say, nah, that's my car, that's my car. Nah, I've been on that car. You don't know nothing about that car, right? So as let's say that you 8 years old at that time. Now you coming into that 14, 15 years old. You starting to drive now, mm-hmm. right? So what in your mind has been established as success?
Having an Escalade.
Having that car.
You want an Escalade EXT with the spinning rims on it, mm-hmm. You want a sound system because the beat out got to make the tag shake. You know what I'm saying? The window's supposed to rattle when you riding by. So you want a vehicle that's going to cost you north of $100,000, mm-hmm. right? So the next question that comes into play is, well, how did the people that I saw with those things get that? Mm. That's the next question.
Yeah.
So obviously you know the answer to that question, which is what? Them boys was in the game. Mm-hmm. They was hustlers. They was hustling. And now hustling is a very broad term. It's not used for criminal activity, but it's used to describe the grind, the grit, the dedication and perseverance that you have to have in order to accomplish something, mm-hmm. right? But in this aspect, we're using it for that first definition. So you come to the conclusion, you say, well, I want that. The people that I know that had that, they did this. So if I want that, quite naturally, that means I'm gonna have to do that too, mm-hmm. right? You are not coming from a place of abundance thinking like that, are you?
No. Mm-mm.
You don't see any other opportunity. All you see is that one opportunity. This is what they did, so that must be what I have to do, right? As opposed to if you expose yourself to a wider, broader spectrum of people from different backgrounds with different skills and different things that they've accomplished, well then the necessity is not so urgent. It's not so right now because you're learning. Okay, well, I went to school and I did this, or I built a business and I did this, or I went and got a job and I became extremely good at what I did, and I offered so much value to the company that I was working for that I now make this type of money, right? So I think that what happens is when we say this word hustle, you get so caught up into the right now because you notice something about a lot of people who call themselves hustlers. They always moving. They're always moving, right? And what has happened is I believe that they've confused motion with progress. So just because you're moving, you could be moving in place.
Yeah, exactly, on the treadmill.
You could, right? You on a treadmill. You moving hard, fast, and when you from the outside, it look like, oh snap, oh boy, they got a lot going on because you see sweat and you see a lot of upper body motion, right? But they running in place. They running in place, which is why 10 years down the line, it explains why they have absolutely nothing to show for the effort. Now, mind you, I'm not criticizing. I guess maybe I am in a little bit, but on the same note and in the same breath, you know, that's the reality of it.
It's the facts.
That's the reality of it, man. You running in place, right? It's kind of like them dudes that sell weed. Nigga been selling weed for 10, 12 years. You still selling weed? Oh, well, I only do that because the risk that's associated with it. Why you do it in the first? If that's something that you're worried about, why you do it in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Or if you doing, you know, fraud or something like that, you still running inside the store?
That's a good one. That's a heavy topic, especially just seeing what happened when these other little dudes just got jammed up. So what will be your, like, if someone say they hear this argument, they say, okay, well, all right, man. So give me an alternative. What's an alternative then?
Boom. This is not financial advice. I am not advising you to commit criminal acts. What I'm going to tell you is this. Whatever it is that you got doing, you have to be able to look ahead. You have to practice farsightedness. This is a skill. It's like a muscle. And the more you practice it, the better you're going to get at it, right? You have to practice looking ahead, right? And in looking ahead, you begin to realize something, all right? You're on your current path. Let's say that you do fraud, right? You do fraud. Fraud is a crime. Yeah?
Yeah.
It is.
That's a crime, all right? What is ultimately, you know, all things go unchecked. What is the final destination for career criminal?
Jail.
You're going to jail.
Jail. Okay? Depending on what type of fraud you was doing determines how much time you're going to get. Yes or no?
Yeah. Fact.
Okay. So once you have come to the realization that for whatever it is that you're doing, whatever type of stuff you're trying to get a hold of, it comes with certain penalties. Let's say that this one particular comes with, 7 years, right? This one in particular comes with 5 years. This one in particular comes with 12 years. And if you're doing anything of any significance, you're getting any type of money that's of any significance, well, there's a reason that it's significant, right? Which means that the penalty is probably going to be a little bit harsher. So why am I saying all of this? What I'm saying is you have to practice the farsightedness. If that's the avenue that you're going to take, well, you need to take into consideration, I'm going to go to jail at some point. At what point do you secure the lawyer? At what point do you put money aside for bail? At what point do you put money aside or a plan aside to take care of whatever apartment you got? I remember one dude that I met, he told me he had 2 apartments. I was trying to understand, I didn't want to insult him, you know what I'm saying? But I was trying to genuinely understand the reasoning for 2 apartments. He got 2 apartments and he got 2 cars. I'm like, well, bro, so what? Oh, so what you one is what's the other apartment for? That boy said, oh, that's if I need to lay low for a little bit, I go stay at the other apartment.
And drive the other car?
And drive the other car. His dad drive the other car in the meanwhile, so it don't just sit there.
People got the alter ego, huh?
I was trying to make sense as to why that is something that but see, that's the hustler mindset. That's that hustler mentality. And if you don't transcend out of the hustler's mindset, look at somebody like a 50 Cent. Even 50 said that. You got to rise above. You got to transcend that. You got to transcend that because you stay stuck in the right now.
We got to find that clip. We got to find the clip with 50 Cent talking about that.
I'm telling you.
That definitely going to help.
You got to come up out of that mindset of, you know, everything demands your immediate attention right now. That's why all that on the go, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. They never sit still. They never sit still, right? Look at wealthy people. Look at wealthy people. For the most part, you find them in one spot.
Yeah. It almost seems like they set systems up to relieve themselves.
Thank you.
And buy back time.
Thank you.
For sure. I definitely 110% agree with that. So what, like, do you think that there's an age that, you know, limit of where someone can learn to change the way that their mind frame works or their vision on hustle? Because like you said, if you've been hustling for 10 plus years, but let's just even 20 years, because we got some 20-year-old hustlers, you know, they've been hustling since they've been, you know, early teens, and they going into late 40s or mid 40s, early 40s and mid 40s, and they in the game, they still hustling, they doing their thing. But like I said, remember, to them, they're doing a smidge bit better than the average. So, and why I say a smidge bit better, it don't even necessarily only have to be the money. It's because the freedom that they're able to do the move. Like, I know I could go and set up at a block and make me $600-700. You got to work 2 weeks to see that. So, you know, already that's like, okay, I'm doing a little bit better. So, what value would you bring to them to say, hey, if you set up these much more systems right here, like, this could change the trajectory of your life? Like, why would they even consider that? Especially you've been 20 years into the game. You understand what I'm saying? So that's where I think people kind of get stuck at, to say, now, I can give my input of why I would consider that, but when you're 20 years at doing this thing and you always look like, okay, I'm doing a little bit better than the average, you got someone that said, I never worked a job in my life. And that's, to them, that's prestige.
That's prestige. That's
you feel me? Because you feel like I'm independent. You know, I was able to do this without having to go and ask for a 9 to 5 and say, employ me. I created some value for myself, and I was able to monetize it. Which, like you say, to the point, to an extent, that's great. Now it's what you do to transcend that and go on to the next. But that part right there, I think, gets capped. They don't worry about that. Like, no one is thinking about my grandkids, my great-grands, and things of that nature.
Right.
It's kind of like, if I die, you know, I done bought me a house, I got a couple of cars, you know, and I'm steady making money. You know, yeah, it took up a lot of my time still, but I'm doing better than average. So it's like, what value would you bring to that person and say, yeah, okay, well, bro, you need to start implementing some systems, or hey, you need to go ahead and start planning for this next 10, 20, 30 years. Like what's going to change that mind?
Well, I mean, everybody's values, you know, they have different values. Now, I'd be interested to know what the person who says, well, I prefer to do it like the way that you explained it. I prefer to do it like that because I have freedom over my time. Do you really? Do you really have freedom over your time? Right? So, because I know I could pull up right quick and I could make $700-800. Okay. So you don't have freedom over your time. How long it's going to take you to make that $700-800? You said, what is it going to take for you to make that $700-800? So when you look at the opportunity cost, you look down on the person that got the 9 to 5 and say, oh, well, I'm my own boss. I control my own schedule. No, you don't. You don't control your own schedule. You don't have freedom over your time. You don't have freedom over your money. Why? Because if you don't go get it, you don't get it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's an excellent point.
So it's kind of an oxymoron, so to speak, because if it requires you to do it, then it's not like that's a passive stream of income. It requires you to be there. Well, guess what? The 9 to 5 person, guess what it requires from them? It requires them to be there. Mm-hmm. So what is fundamentally different about the two? I don't see a fundamental difference.
Both both of them stuck in a service loop. You know what I'm saying?
You have to be there to do it.
Yeah.
Right? So let's say, for instance, you got that. You know, they say if you got to have 7 streams of income. Okay, so let's say that you got a clothing brand, right? That's a popular thing. People got the clothing brand, right?
Yeah.
They got a clothing brand. They do Uber. They sell dinners at night. They have babysitting. They do babysitting and all of that stuff, right? You got 4 streams of income. Is that 4 streams of income or 4 jobs?
4 jobs. Because if you got a clothing brand, why it's not in the store? Like, why ain't contact Walmart or something?
So you got to make the clothes. You got to sell the clothes. You
Ship
got
them out.
You got to ship the clothes out. You okay? Where does that difference settle in at?
Yeah.
From the person that chose the safer route. See, they just chose the safer route.
Yeah, less risky route.
It's less risky. It might take a little longer, and even with that, we know better than that. We know better than that. You know, it all depends on the education. It all depends on the access to information. Because see, if you know what to do with the money, if you know what to do, even with a job, it won't be just you, but even with jobs, if you got the right financial systems in place, you can come out of poverty even with jobs.
Yeah, for sure. That's for sure.
Even with jobs. All other nationalities, all other groups, nation groups, they come to America and they practice group economics. They come here, it's about 20 of them that live in one house. They all go get jobs. They all work their jobs. They all live in the one house. They save their money, pool their resources. After about a year, they go out and they buy a second house, right? Now, they can either choose to live in that house, but you're probably not going to do that, though. They're probably going to rent the house out, or they're probably going to get one of those multi-family units, right? Take one family that's living in the house, put it inside the multi-family unit as the landlord, as the property manager, to make sure that everything is taken care of, and then they collect rent from all the other people that live there. So you're steadily living below your means, below your means, below your means. As opposed to people in the West, you're taught to live beyond your means. That's where credit comes into play. Mm-hmm. Right? How many people do you know with messed up credit?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. That's not something that's emphasized to us in our communities. Right? So we lack the knowledge of group economics. We lack the knowledge of how credit is supposed to work. We lack the knowledge of how to build for the future. We're not considering our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. You're not considering that, right? All you care about is how can I accumulate the most means and the most resources for myself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very selfish type attitude, very selfish type mentality. So I don't think that somebody who's stuck in that mindset will ever come out of it if they don't begin to realize what's actually important. You're trying to build these resources for you. And that's probably why, because as long as you're getting what you think you want, that's it.
No, in fact, that's almost like a hustler versus a system. A hustler, like you said, they may have that hustle mindset and that mentality, but what if you're in business with a few other people and they don't have that same type of hustle mentality? That means the vision only goes as far as you see it, and you can't portray that on the people like you because there's no system in place for them to follow. So if you don't feel like working one day, that means they don't make money for you or they don't make money themselves. So it's almost as if the hustler is selfish, because a hustler who transcends into a builder could create a structure that can be followed if he's not there.
Yes.
But if the hustler depends on his hustle mentality, what if you don't feel like hustling that day? That means the people who working with you don't make money? If you got a group of people to go out with you and sell DVDs, sell clothes, do whatever you do in the street, scam, and you don't feel like showing up the other day, that means the people who working with you don't make money either. So they can't provide for their family because you, as the hustler, it's not motivated.
You got to hold the pillars up. Hustle like Samson. You got to hold the pillars up. You know what I'm saying? But what happens when you stop holding the pillars up?
Get tired.
The house collapses.
That is selfish, man. That's selfish. First, especially if you got people under you that's relying on you, that's using you as a support, and you mean to tell me you don't got a game plan for them to follow even if you're not in place, because you gonna say, oh, because I'm the hustler? Yeah, that's selfish, man. That's real selfish.
But that's the problem with our environment. Everyone loves to look like they're the important one.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So that they stuck on servicing themselves. You feel me? You work a job, you get paid, you catch up on bills, then you make sure that you have that other
play money.
Play money, so you can go to the club, so you can show them boys, I'm still out here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Then you go back broke. Now you gotta do the same thing over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? So you stuck on servicing your own lifestyle. As long as I'm good, that's all that matters. Cause when them boys fall off, I still look important. I still look like I'm that guy. So that's the problem. They're stuck in the loop.
Bro, took the words right out of my mouth. You stuck in a loop. You stuck in it. You stuck in it. Because every time you feel like you accomplished something, you get that hit, that dopamine hit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did a good thing.
Yeah.
All right, well, cool. I don't need to do nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
What about your grandkids, though?
Yeah, yeah.
What about your grandkids? What about them?
F them kids.
Man.
Boosie.
Oh man, right? Yeah, Boosie said it best. That boy said, you done live 40, 50 years, nigga, you done lived your life. It's about these kids.
But it's the same way in the in that far world, bro. You know, you will make a lick, and you have the different type of minds in that world too. You'll make a lick, and you'll think that, oh, I'm good, and you go start doing what you clubbing, buying clothes, chilling, and then all of a sudden, damn, boy, that lick, you just went from 10 grand, now you at $700.
Oh,
now you back.
Looking back.
Yeah, now you back to trying to now. You know what I'm saying?
So when you hit for 10 grand, you was not worried about the next hit.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, man.
Yeah.
And I don't, that's the thing. That's why I don't know, like, it's a mind frame. You have certain ones that see it, that see that vision, and know how to take the 10 and then take maybe 5 or 7 of that and go reinvest it and do it again. Certain ones, the majority is not going to do that. Maybe 95% is not going to do it.
Because it makes you look so much better if you could lose it all and get it right back.
One, that makes you look better. That's one.
Oh, that's sick.
And then number 2 is just like you don't have your thought patterns is not built for that, because you got to show people that I made it.
Yeah, like we only glamorize the come up.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Not the overcoming.
So, not the continuous.
Yeah, the continuous.
The longevity, not the consistency of it. It's just that hit.
Bro, that makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
That makes no sense to me. The equivalent of that is you had cancer. You cured yourself from cancer and went and got cancer again to prove that your dumb ass could come out of cancer. That just makes no sense.
Oh,
Zero.
yeah.
You got out. You made 10 bands. I am not condoning that you go and make $10,000 like that, but you got it. Okay, kudos to you. Nigga, please take the money and invest it.
Oh, man.
That's like niggas going to jail. Oh, I got the best lawyers to get me out. So you go back and do the same dumb stuff and get locked up just to say, oh, I got the best lawyers to get me out again.
Do you see that's glamorized? They got the best lawyers, pay the top lawyers, you know what I'm saying? So that's the unfortunate. But just remove the criminal aspect of it and let's just try to put that in something legitimate. Like, it's the same thing. Why is that not the concept, even with people that work regular 9 to 5s? When income tax comes, your life don't change. You've been maintaining. What I'm saying is, like, you've been maintaining for the 10, 11 months of the year already, 12 months of the year already, right? You've been maintaining like this. Now, $5 grand just dropped in from your income tax. Why is the first thing not taught? Well, why? Man, wow, okay, boom. Everything is still solidly good. Take this and go invest this. So eventually, I could slow down on the heavy labor that I'm doing at my job and then probably start receiving more of this passive. That's not taught. The first thing is taught is show that my life has gotten better. What that means, buy a new car, what that means, buy a new TV, you know what I'm saying? Because you feel like, that's exactly what it is. You gotta show that, that makes sense. It's me. So I gotta show that, okay, boy, life good, life better now for me. Until the 3rd month, and then repose, and the continuous thing just keep on happening, and then you just work the next 9 to 10 months of the year again, and then wait for it all over to happen again, unfortunately. So
let me help bring this into context, bro. You know I had to do it.
Okay.
You know I had to do it, boy. Because coming from that mindset myself, right? That hustle, because I had that hustler's ambition too, bro. I felt like as long as I was able to come out of the problem, then that was all that mattered. Oh, well, if any problem come, I know I can come out of it. But not changing the software to make sure I don't have to run into that problem again.
Sure.
So you just keep running into the problem, and coming out the problem. And that whole cycle, that death cycle, you get stuck in that loop of repeat, that survival circle. You know what I'm saying? The Bible called it a chain of darkness, a cycle of darkness, bro. You get stuck in that. And it took a little bit. Eventually I came out of it, but it took a little bit. It took a few hard hits to the head before I was able to realize, well, no, the reason that you keep falling into this trap is because you don't have the information that you think that you have. You don't have the understanding that you think that you have. So you got to humble yourself down and go and educate yourself. But just for clarity, right? Let's say it's 2010, right? Bitcoin is fresh on the scene, right? And I use Bitcoin because I know that's something that is pretty common in that scam world, right? You use your money that you hit the lick. You got $10,000. Boom. You take a little bit of the money and put it into Bitcoin to go and re-up on whatever it is that you need to re-up on, right? If you had taken $5,000 of the $10,000 and just bought $5,000 worth of Bitcoin in 2010, you would have 1.6 million Bitcoin. You know how much Bitcoin costs in 2010?
What?
0.003 cents per coin.
Sheesh.
So you'd have 1.6 million Bitcoin,
bro.
Off of this one plate. So right now, Bitcoin is at $70,000 per token. So you just multiply that times 70,000, and off of your one $5,000 investment that you made in 2010, you would literally be worth $116 billion today. So you want to talk about a come up? You want to talk about the play? Well, listen here. The white man figured this out a long time ago. He figured it out a long time ago.
I'm crying right now, man.
So all the money that you put on the site, if you had just took the money and left it on the Bitcoin, left it in your Bitcoin wallet, you'd be a crypto billionaire today.
It's funny. That's the term right there. I got to go put money on the site. That's what they say. I got to go put money on the. Damn, that's crazy.
You got to go. You went and bought the Bitcoin to put money on the site. If you'd have just left it in the Bitcoin, you'd have a 295 million% return.
And you know what's crazy? The people you were buying the Bitcoin from, because that's how you did it, they probably knew that.
Of course.
They probably knew that.
Of course. They just, thank you. They're going to take your money and go buy them some more Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? So it's insane, man, with the mindset behind that hustler's ambition, and everybody got, I'm the boss.
Yeah.
No, but see, the boss need to know. You have to know the plan. Are you the boss or the builder? You gotta come to a consensus as to who it is that you're gonna be. Right? The boss just manage stuff. A boss is like a CEO. People commonly they get a misconception about a CEO. They think CEO means that you head honcho. CEO is a job. The boss is the person that owns the business. The CEO just manages the business, right? So that's what a boss is. Now, an owner, a builder, that's something different. An entrepreneur, that's somebody different. Y'all see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So you have to definitely make sure we got a visitor. You got to definitely make sure that you got your priorities in the right place. So. We got a question coming in. When every dollar has somewhere to go before you earn it, are you making money or servicing your lifestyle?
Yeah.
It's kind of like what we just been talking about.
Yep.
Servicing your lifestyle.
You're servicing your lifestyle. That hustler's mindset is one that's kind of selfish. And mind you, when you first start, you need that. Yeah. You kind of need that, right? But as you progress and as you move forward and as you grow, you got to transition out of the hustler mindset and into the builder mindset.
So effectively, basically, what you're saying is that in order for that to even happen, you have to go and get new information.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Because that's the only way that's going to happen.
Yes.
And so, and that's the issue, man. Like, you don't trust, hustlers ain't going to trust, they don't trust that. Because you, like you say, you survival. So I don't trust you. You hating or, my bad, this the concept that you come from. You hating, yeah, boy, you don't want to see me do good. So now I have to become vulnerable and say I don't know. You feel me? All these stuff gotta happen. All this collectively needs to happen to go and learn this. Because once it do happen, you much more happy about it because now you done gain this information. You're like, damn, oh Lord, I didn't know I could have used this to do that. You know, simple stuff. You know, and while you still hustling, but slowly you starting to see yourself less of you, more system. Less of you, more system. But that's usually the issue right there. People most likely ain't gonna somehow open up to that vulnerability to say, I heard one person told me that, man, you don't need no white person to tell you this. You can figure this out on your own. Quite sure. Fair enough. Fair enough. That's a fact. But have you figured it out?
Nope.
And that be the issue right there. So a lot of times that's right there. That's the point that it need to get to because unfortunately, as long as the ego is, I can still do it, I don't need nobody else, then you're going to continue the cycle. You're going to continue cycling. And you're right, it is selfish because you're going to drag other people into that cycle.
Yep.
And they're going to just get caught in your whirlpool of just a turning and turning and turning and turning. And
clash, fall out.
Yeah, man, that's an unfortunate situation right there, man. And I'm so happy that we was able to learn that because quite frankly, the first few years of our situation, that's all it looked like as well. Although you made a lot of money, but then you had to look at where the money was going. You know, you making all this money and you killing, especially you making a lot of money during the pandemic season, but what's happening with it?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it feeling like the labor is still the same thing? That should not be the case,
bro.
And see, I think, you know, kind of what we, like you said, what did we do? You know, we started off in survival mode. We started off with the hustle. You know, we found a way to organize it, and then we built on that. We own, and then now we're multiplying. And you know, and I got a question. So, what has to change when somebody moves from a hustler to a builder?
You can't be selfish.
Yeah.
You can't do everything. You know what I'm saying? Although you may be good at everything, but you can't do everything.
For sure.
So you gotta spread the workload. You know what I'm saying?
And with that, to just ride off of that, the information. The information, bro. That transition is not going to take place until you get a hold of some new information.
Yeah.
The mind that created the problem is not capable of producing the solution.
That's why we think
Facts.
that
It's not in there. It's like logic. It's not. You can't get something what you don't have.
That's it, bro. That's it, man. One thing I could say, man, and bro, is it's kind of a touchy topic because like D mentioned, when we first started, bro, we didn't know none of this.
Yeah.
We didn't know none of this stuff. We didn't know nothing about business. We had the hustler's mindset. We were overly confident and underly qualified, right? When I say overly confident, just knew that we was finna just take the world by storm.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, did we have no idea what we were signing up for. Because you got the hustler's mindset. Oh yeah, I bought this stuff, I sell this stuff. I bought this stuff, I sell. It's not that simple. Things change. So you have to have systems in place. You have to have systems in place to keep things managed, to keep things orderly, especially when it comes down to that money. If you don't have the proper systems in place, you'll find yourself in a situation where you're steadily, progressively making more money and getting poorer as you do it.
Man.
And one of the most, I read this book, it was called the E-Myth Enterprise. And Michael Gerber is the author of that book. And he said in the E-Myth Enterprise, he gave a story. And the story was saying, he was talking about how he started this business even though he didn't know anything about business. And he had started getting to a point where the revenue was starting to come in and he didn't really know what to do, how to handle it. So he had to go and talk to an accountant. And for the first time, you know, he said his hands were shaking and he was so nervous and sweating bullets because for the first time, somebody other than him was going to take a look at the books and find out that he had no idea what he was doing.
Oh, that's a fear.
Bro, I experienced that personally. The very first time I had to go and talk to an accountant because I grew up with that. I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. I grew up hearing that. I grew up in an environment of people that's all they talked about, but for some strange reason, none of them could ever execute. Right? So I grew up with this, that when I say overly confident and underly qualified, that was me to a T, bro. So the first time that I had to go and talk to an accountant, bro, I had all kind of mixed feelings, man. My gut was turning, man, because I'm like, what if they ask me questions that I don't know the answer to? I'm gonna look stupid. I'm gonna look like I don't know what I'm doing, even though I didn't know what I was doing.
How did you feel after you conjured up that gut feeling to go do that, and you got some feedback loop?
Defeated, ashamed, hurt, but empowered. Even though I felt defeated, because because the accountant was like, okay, well, what about this? Well, what about that number? What about this number? What about the cost of goods sold versus your RPE versus all of these different type of acronyms that I had never heard before.
That you should know.
That I should know.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, okay, here's the problem. Me. I'm the problem. I'm the problem here. My lack of understanding is getting ready to drive the business into the ground. So people hardly change until the hurt of staying the same outweighs the hurt of change. And as painful as that transition was, and it was a painful one, because like I said, man, you know, for the first time, somebody other than me realized I didn't know what I was doing. Right? And we have this business at the time. We weren't making $1 million a year, but we were close to it. And I think at the time we were like at 700,000 or something like that. And at that time it was like, man, okay, all right, okay. So what are we gonna do? What systems are we gonna take on? So I started studying. I started researching things, and you remember those days? It used to be in the warehouse and just be in there super late and everything, bro. I was burning that midnight oil because I'm like, man, I gotta find a solution to this. And as I studied more and learned more and studied more, and I started picking up little things here and there and implementing these systems and learning how accounting works and all of that type of stuff, because there's no way around this. Don't let nobody trick you. If you want to be in business, you must learn accounting. Not, I got an accountant. You have to learn it yourself. Accounting is the language of business. If you cannot read a profit and loss statement, if you cannot read a balance sheet, if you don't know how to track your cash flow, you will not be in business for long. Trust me. Average business, 10-year run. They get a 10-year run, and that's about how far it goes. 97% of those businesses that get started are going to fail in that 10-year run. The ones that make it past that 10-year run and are still profitable and are still functional, oh man, listen here, it's like a micro percentage. It's like a micro percentage. And let alone you talking about scaling to any type of money that's worth something, right? Because let's be honest. I know I don't want to, sound, arrogant or anything, but $10 million is not a lot of money. It's not, especially in the industry that we're in. We're in the food and beverage business. 10 million is not a lot.
No, it's not.
It's not a lot of money. That's just the reality. Some people might say, oh, well, that's not a lot to you, but to somebody that's just coming up. But see, that's the problem. The information. You got to change the level of information that you got. When you realize that you making $1 million, that's not a lot.
Yeah.
A good profit margin for a restaurant is like 13%. And if you're getting 13%, you are killing the game.
Yeah, killing it.
You are killing the game.
And that's a good profit margin. What's the average?
The average, bro, is between 0 and 9%.
Oh, that's going out of business.
And see, that's not really too. I want to hear that. I'm not interested.
You talking, and it's pretty stable at like 5%. So if you make $1 million, that's $50,000.
Yeah. No.
Bro, that's you make $1 million. That's $50,000 that you took home. So after you done paid all of your people, after you done paid for your inventory, after you done paid for your operation, you are left for yourself 50 grand out of that $1 million for the average restaurant.
And that's assuming that you have all your systems in line.
Boy, listen, boy, don't let nothing break. Don't let nothing
that's
break.
a good question. Chat, that's a good question. So if you disappear for 30 days, would your life and your business keep producing without you? See, the hustle was supposed to be the finance to the system, not become the system. So consider that, man. If you left for 30 days, would your lifestyle and your business still function and flow?
You done turned the hustle into the operation. No, the hustle was supposed to be able to, it's like a fundraiser. You know what I'm saying? Hustling is supposed to be like a fundraiser. Fundraising is not an accomplishment. That's an obligation.
Yeah.
It's an obligation. You are obligated. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't get that's kind of like getting a reward for cleaning your room. You don't reward your child for cleaning their room. No, you're supposed to do that.
Yeah,
you get rewarded when you excel above and beyond what the standard is.
Yes.
That's when the reward kicks in. But you are obligated to raise money. Hustling is supposed to raise up the money. Like how when we first started, we was getting that thing out the mud. Literally.
Facts.
Literally getting it out the mud. We had a vacant lot that we used to pull up on rain, cold, hurricane, straight mud in the lot and everything. We have to park the trailer as much as we can over the water, so when people pull up, they ain't got to walk into the water. But it means that we had to walk in the water. And we literally, how many pairs of boots you had to buy?
Oh man, we ran through them boots. We ran through boots like y'all run through Jordans, man.
Boy, them boots was, listen here, man. Ooh, you talking about getting it out the mud? We got it out the mud.
For real, even with the Red Wings.
Oh, with the Red Wings, yeah, for real.
They last the longest though. Shout out to Red Wings for that. They last the longest, but boy,
Red Wings gonna have to give us affiliates link.
I'm trying to tell you for real, boy, cause we'll have y'all shoot $300 a pill.
Yeah, so man, it's like the hustle is like, that battery jump start. You don't keep the battery jump start to keep jumping the battery once it dies. No, go get information and change it out. Change out the battery. Get a new battery. It's gonna last longer.
Or fix the alternator.
Fix the alternator.
That's what the problem is. The reason the battery keep dying is because the alternator is broken.
You're gonna keep the jump start with you just in case.
Just in case. Well, I got jump start.
That's the hood life.
Oh, jump start. Got one in you. but like, even that, bro. Like, oh my goodness.
There you go.
That's crazy.
Another hood story.
Why ride with that? Like, yo,
you
riding? You anticipating?
Why not fix the problem? Nah, I ain't finna fix that, boy. I ain't finna drop no 500.
I say it's
scared to invest in themselves.
It's deeper than that surface level, man. And guys, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Like, for those that know me, I didn't get this concept overnight, quite frankly. You know what I'm saying? So this is something that I was shocked with the information. I had to go and seek out more information on my own, then get mentorship, read, study, and then slowly but surely it started changing. But then it's like a roller coaster. Once that thing get to rolling,
domino effect.
Yeah, it's a domino effect. So at that point, you're only looking to entertain concepts of what's yours. So it's not like people keep on making it seem like, man, I keep on my environment. No, it's because the information that you keep on getting is keeping you in that same circle. So I had to go outside of that box, man. That right there, riding around with
Let me ask you this though. How often are you back in North Miami or Little Haiti with the people you started off with?
At all.
So with the information, it causes you to separate from that environment. Did you care about what people say, oh man, you ain't in the hood no more, you ain't come on and pull up on us no more?
Nah. Initially, yeah. Initially, it was a point, because remember, this part right here is psychologically deeper than what we're just talking about.
Thanks.
It's psychologically way deeper than the fact that, I'm stuck in survival mode because, I'm a hustler. One of the Oh, it's a shameful story. One of the most shameful things that remember, bro, when we first started going out with Atlas. You know, now, quite frankly, guys, before we got the bonanzas, we was running through companies. We was trying different things. This what hustlers do.
We failed a lot.
You know what I'm saying? So one of our first companies was Atlas. It was a maintenance company. We did cleaning services. We did local maintenance on vehicles, et cetera, janitorial work. We did quite a bit. You know, but when we was in the field going out there networking and prospecting, I remember that I did not want to be seen on that scene if I didn't have some sort of a designer on, some sort of something that says that I'm prosperous. That's a psychological problem. Yeah, I don't really need to do this. I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? Because I got to show, although we're taking the entrepreneur route, or at that time was really just a self-employed route, you know, I have to show that I'm still good. You know what I'm saying? But that was a psychological problem within myself. So going around North Miami or Little Haiti, where I was raised up at, like, yeah, quite frankly, yeah, I could not, you know, it was one of those things, I felt really bad to even go around that area if I did not have on a certain part of attire. Now, as information started growing, I started learning and I started understanding who I want to be. You know, let's see, it's an identity issue in that too. It's quite a bit that's happening in there. But once I started coming up a level, yeah, entertaining that bad information, which was in my cities, entertaining that information, that means going around the people that thought like I did, it was not beneficial at that point. It's like, why am I spending this type of quality time around? Your thinking patterns is gonna be one of two things. You're gonna talk about a hustle, whether it's a scam, you're gonna talk about a girl. These are the things that you're gonna entertain with, which I'm trying to transition into being with my family and build business and create generational wealth. So I need to be talking around that space. When you keep on finding yourself in the cycle of going back to those same old concepts, you wonder why you can't get ahead. You wonder why, and then you say, I'm not getting no information, and no, you are getting information. It's just the same one. You just getting the same information. So yeah, you're right, bro. Over that time, you had to change that. That was an embarrassing moment for me, that you can't walk out like, I can't get seen in work boots. You work though. Why you mean you can't get seen in work boots? So, and man, one of the most happiest moments I was able to, when I went to our picnic, I was proud to come out there and you see.
I'm a working man.
I'm a working man. What I've created, what I've developed, what me and my family has did.
And what the majority of the people had on.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, design and everything. But at that point, you realize once, like, what's that saying you always say, man? You give other people the
ammunition that they need.
No, when you say that, you like, oh man, once you establish your character as like righteous, or you give other people opportunity or the permission to be righteous or something like that. Yeah. You
when you shine your light, subconsciously you give other people permission to do the same.
Exactly. And then I start realizing that. I'm like, wow. So psychologically, that trap of survival, hustle, I'm thinking that's what I gotta stay in because everybody, but the moment that they see, wow, this person is a smidge bit different. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about that image. You know, they've been grinding for 10, 12 years in the muck. I don't see them on those scenes, and they look like genuinely happy and excited about what they're doing. You know, you give another person opportunity to either give you flowers or just say, hey, what is it that you've done? You know what I'm saying? That they're interested in trying to, you know, and I think that's me. That's one of my biggest things I would like to do. You know, I would like to be on that set myself, my family up to a point where we're able to shine that light and other people can be inspired and as such and have these type of conversations. Because growing up in the hood, for sure, like you said earlier, bro, what we seeing as the glamorous, you know, riding in a Cadillac with 20s and all this type of stuff, versus this person that came out the box, you know, came out the box, but was comfortable in who they were, you know, and not only were they comfortable, they actually are successful. They are actually successful in what they built. So man, that's a psychological problem right there that's much deeper than the fact that, oh yeah, I get caught in the cycle. Yeah, man, this happens from the root. Like, it's kind of like you trying to get information about, you know, how to come out of a survival or hustle mode when you got a person that work minimum wage. They've been working minimum wage for 30 years and they live in Section 8. You're not gonna get no information from them about how to come out of that cycle. You know what I'm saying? All they do is talk about scamming, smoking weed, and you're not gonna get no information from them about how to build generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? So it makes no sense to entertain that. So anybody or any of us that try to get out of that situation, you definitely can't keep taking information from these people, because you know information is what's going to trigger it. Mm-hmm. You can't keep on taking information from people. It's usually information or damn near a life and death situation that usually help people to make that change at the precipice that they'll make that change.
Yeah. So hustling for 10 years, you wonder why, okay, well, I've been hustling for 10 years and I'm just content with where I'm at. It's because you ain't see nothing better. You're not around to see anything better. You don't put yourself in environments where you could see something better to motivate you to do something better. So you're gonna always feel content. Nobody there to sharpen your iron, to give you information, to challenge you. Mm-hmm. So you feel like, okay, well, I got it made, man. Sometimes you gotta remove yourself from the box and then start within yourself, understanding that you only know what you know and what you don't know.
I think to double down on that, bro, and in regard to our last podcast where we spoke on was college still worth it? I think that one of the things that Lee mentioned was that he felt like the best thing for him was the network that he had access to. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's more so along the lines of what college does. I believe that was Scott Galloway, that interview that we watched.
Scott Galloway, yes.
Where he was saying that
if you go to Yale,
if you went to Yale, it doesn't matter how much money you had to take out. The network, the exposure that you're going to get in that type of environment, the people that you're going to be exposed to, it's going to be worth it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is one of the things that would be a better, to me, that sounds like it would be a better selling point to somebody, as opposed to just the information itself is going to. No, it's not enough so much the information as it is the exposure to people who are trying to accomplish something. The exposure to people who are actively working, who are actively building towards something. If the majority of the company that you have, the majority of the people that you spend a large percentage of your time around are trying to see what's good. You walking out to the street corner. How many niggas doing that, bro? Just you walking out you look to the left, look to the right. The same street with the same stuff, with the same people, same crackheads walking back and forth, same dudes pulling up in renties, same females trying to trick, all this type. This is the environment that you're exposing yourself to. What type of mindset do you think is going to be developed and cultivated in that type of environment? Mm-hmm. So you have to take yourself outside of that environment, the environment that's not giving you any results, that's not producing anything, and immerse yourself into an environment of people that are doing something.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, when you first do it, it's going to be intimidating.
Yes,
It's going to be intimidating. You're going to feel like people judging you. You're going to feel like why? Because you feel like you ain't got nothing going on. Mm-hmm. You don't feel like you're a valuable person. You don't feel like you have anything to offer. But you have to be able to sit through that uncomfortable feeling long enough to allow yourself to acclimate, to adapt to the environment, you know, and you listening to other people's stories. How many different stories we heard when we went to the Wealth Conference?
Oh, a bunch.
Remember our boy Tyrone from Vegas? The white dude from Vegas. Yeah, his name was Tyrone. He had a paper stock company, and he was just telling us a little bit about how his company worked and how it operated and things like that. Another dude that we met, the real tall dude, Anderson Stryker.
Oh
yeah. He got a cattle ranch in Montana, and they do grass-fed beef, all grass-fed beef. They don't do the antibiotic things, you know. And you're just learning about different people and the way that they do things and the way that and we were all there for the same reason.
For sure, right?
We were all there for the same reason, right? And everybody was intrigued with our story. Mm-hmm. They were intrigued with our story, you know, because the assumption was, okay, well, you know, you guys do like dinner parties or something like that, dinner sales? Like, no, well, actually, we have a full-fledged catering operations. We got 2 food trucks with a restaurant in Miami Gardens. So, and as we began to tell the story, right, and how we accomplished $1 million in revenue and all of that type of stuff in 1 year, right? Because, you know, you said, well, you said that's not that big of a deal. Well, it's, you got to, what did they say, 6, 7? Right, it's 2 ends of a spectrum. right? In business, $1 million is nothing, right? When you standing in the shadow of companies that are making 12 million a year, 25 million a year, 125 million a year, what is $1 million a year?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Dropping the
And
bucket.
that's exactly what you're in. When you're in that wealth conference, these are people that are, some of them are billionaires. Grant Cardone is a billionaire. You know, Brandon Dawson, Cardone Ventures made $171 million last year. And this is the type of business minds that you are around. So you have to change your environment, right? You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time around. So if the average, so if you got a dope dealer, a scammer, a trick, a hoe, excuse
Maybe
that language,
And maybe a 9-to-5 worker.
and a 9-to-5 worker. Well, you take all of them combined, all of their potential combined, and average it out. That's you.
You know what's crazy
Yeah.
though, bro? Think about the kids who's growing up under that.
Oh my goodness.
What do you expect the outcome of the kids to be growing up in an environment like that, and you get mad at the kids when they grow up and do the same thing you was doing?
Yeah, I want you to be better than me. No.
How? And you don't provide, you don't cultivate that a better environment for them.
Nope.
So it, like you said, it starts with you.
Yep.
You ain't think about the kids. They growing up saying I'm gonna be a hustler. Oh, so you gonna teach your kid to be a hustler? That's it. So they're gonna hustle 10 years just like you and have the same results.
What
But you
happens
want
when
them
they
to be
choose a
better.
different hustle from you? So your hustling was your 9-to-5. Well, what happens if they hustling this dope? Then what? What if they hustle is scamming? What if they hustle is tricking? Those are hustles.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they
Your
got-
hustle was a 9-to-5. You was talking about grinding on your job, or maybe you created a job for yourself. You self-employed, right? You got a food truck. Be honest. You got a food truck. You self-employed.
Yeah.
yeah.
Take it from we got 2.
Yeah.
We got 2. If you run a food truck, you self-employed.
Yeah.
You do nails, you self-employed. You do hair, you self-employed. You got to understand, and it's not talking down. Like I said, we went through the food truck phase. We went through the food truck phase. But see, we built, and we built, and we built, and we took the money that we made and we reinvested. And we took the money that we made and we reinvested. We didn't amplify our lifestyle. We took the money that we made, we reinvested it, and that's how we were able to build up to the point where we're at right now. You know what I'm saying? So you have to expose yourself to the environment and to the people, to the network that's going to help you to ascend to the next level. You are not going to get it from your current environment. It is not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's a fact. And even if you don't, boy, life is gonna make you do something. Because I got some partners right now telling me that they going into trade. You 40 years old. You just starting to get into a trade? I'm like, wow. My man. What happened to the hustle? You starting to realize. You starting to
All it
realize.
was is hustle, man.
You starting to realize, but the cycle it's gonna be the same, because guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna get into that trade, whatever it may be, right? And then you're gonna feel like, okay, well now I'm gonna go open and be a business because now I do this. Because you ain't never put down the hustle, so you just want to legitimize it because you're getting older. You realize it's slower, so I need to get something that I know how to do, a skill, and you're gonna go and get a business in that skill, right? But you want to be a boss so bad, you don't know none of the fundamentals of it, and the
don't know
next
the
thing
business.
gonna happen is you're gonna be a boss of that business, right? And then you're gonna say, I'm gonna hire some people to go do jobs, right? But
The boss not supposed to work. Spiral.
the cycle itself is gonna continue. Once again, it's gonna be the same old thing, same old thing, man. But yeah. So that information, you're right, bro. When we asked that question earlier, of like, how do you help a person, you know what I'm saying, transition from out of the hustle and the what you call that survival mode? How? Then you got to get new information. You have to get new information. You have to, absolutely have to get new information. So, yeah,
Sometimes you got to pay for that information. too.
a lot of times.
A lot of times. If you want good information, you should pay for it.
Yeah.
Because now you have some type of risk involved in it, right? It kind of forces you. When something is free, you take it for granted.
Yes, you do.
You take it for granted. So go to. There's so many communities that are out there, and you go and learn those best practices, right? It costs. It costs. Like I told you, when we came to the realization, well, maybe I should speak for myself. When I came to the realization, once we hit $1 million a year in revenue, I knew, listen here, I need some help. I need some help. You know what I'm saying? What's the next step from here? What do you do from here? I know that something needs to be done. I don't know what that thing is. Some people say, oh, well, that's because you got to go, you got to do the research. And how many people been going to college doing the research and black people still in poverty?
Yeah.
No, you need a mentor. You need a mentor. You need somebody that has been where you're trying to go. Mm-hmm. You need somebody that has done what you're trying to do, right? So we chose to go and learn from people that are extremely experienced in building businesses. Huh? We are not buying this because y'all are Trump supporters.
Oh, they must not see the
Rude
word.
deck. Well, that's okay because it's obvious that you can't read.
It's unfortunate.
It's important. See, pay attention. Rude deck, my man or my girl, whoever that is, they can't read that well. If you take your time and take the moment to actually read, this is why critical thinking is such an important skill in our community. All right? Because we don't like to read. You got to read. Read. Reading is paramount. Reading is important, Rudek. So that's okay. You can tune out. You don't have to sit and watch. My man can't read that good, right? You must be poor. I can only assume that you're poor. If you cannot read, then I don't know a bunch of successful people that are illiterate. There's a direct correlation between literacy and success. So the first thing that you should do is go and educate yourself. And in order to educate yourself, you must read.
Absolutely.
My man can't even read a hat, let alone a profit and loss statement.
So you negated all the information from a color and some white writing on a hat.
That's it. That's it. He jumped to the conclusion, made assumptions, right? And see, that's the problem. That's the problem. See, you sit there. I guarantee you, he can't name not one policy that Trump has put in place. I guarantee it. He don't know not now policy. You want to talk about we're Trump supporters, right? I am about progress. I believe in progress, right? Everybody want to say, well, Trump is a racist. You want to talk about Trump being a racist? Do you know who Joe Biden is? Do you know who Joe Biden is? You ever heard of the 3 strikes rule? The 3 strikes law?
Yep.
Where you have a mandatory life sentence after 3 strikes? You know who voted for that? Who helped put that bill into play?
Sleepy.
Joe Biden. Sleepy Joe put that in place. So if you got an uncle, you got a daddy, you got a cousin, or whoever that's spending 40, 50 years in prison for weed, that's Joe Biden that you could thank for that. Trump didn't support that. You know what I'm saying? So, but this is not a political podcast. We're not going to get into that. But it's very important, people, that you pay attention, that you read. Reading is paramount. All right? So, Rudek, my man, go read a book.
Which he probably not going to do.
He's not going to do that because he can't read that good. He can't read that good. That boy got self-esteem issues. Reading make him feel not too confident in himself, so he don't do a whole lot. Tell you the truth.
Oh, man.
Man, Rudek, why did you do that?
It's all love, Rudek.
Now, I guarantee Rudek is going to read the hat
And feel
be
stupid.
like, damn.
Damn. You're not the first one. You're not the first.
You're definitely not.
You're not.
You can still follow, just, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Apologize, though. You know what I'm saying? You should apologize.
If you can spell apologize.
Just say sorry.
You stupid.
There's 2 R's in there. My man can't read that good. It's okay. It's okay because we're working on it. We working on it. We building ourselves up together, right? But you shouldn't attack somebody when you have, comprehension issues.
Sure, them trigger fingers is activated right now.
Coming after somebody, man. Come on now, don't do that. That's not nice. Okay. All right, y'all. So we're coming up on the end of everything. I think that some of the points that we went over are very, very, very fundamental. I heard a wise man say that we've been educated against the simplicity of wealth. And that statement can't be more truer. It can't be more truer, man.
What you think that mean, bro? Educated against the simplicity?
I guess the question would be, what is the simplicity of wealth?
Well, first thing is understanding that you need an education. You need that education, right? And that wealth is supposed to be simple. Wealth should be simple, right? And you addressed something earlier in the podcast, saying that you addressed something earlier in the podcast. You were saying that there's something deeper.
Oh, the psychological issues.
Yeah,
deeper,
the psychological issues, right? We, as black people in America, see, we've been black all our lives, and in America all of our lives, most of our lives. So we can attest to that experience, which is a very truly unique experience, right? I don't believe in the victim mindset. I don't play the victim on anything. America is the land of opportunity. You have the opportunity to do and be whatever you want to be. You have that opportunity. Now, whether or not you choose to take advantage of it, that's up to you. But the opportunity is there. Now, I'm not saying that, things like racism don't exist. They do exist. I'm just not going to allow it to dictate what I do.
For sure.
I'm not going to allow it to dictate what I do, how I move, how I operate. I'm going to run my business. I'm going to raise my family. I'm going to teach my children. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to depend on anybody else to do anything for me. I'm going to do all that for myself. So I advise that we all take that stance. We used to have that stance. Back in the 40s and 50s, we used to have that stance, that mindset. I'd argue that, my man Rudek, he want to argue about Trump and all this type of stuff, but I think Trump is bringing a lot of people to the realization of something, right? Back in those days, in the 40s and 50s, black people were predominantly Republican.
Yeah, that's a fact.
A lot of people don't know that. A lot of the famous leaders, Martin Luther King started off as a Republican. Malcolm X, he didn't pick any political affiliation, but if you look at a lot of his views, you would align them with conservatism today.
Yeah.
So, I'm not deep into the politics game, but I am into the common sense game. And I am into the well-being of my people game. You know what I mean? There's no secret that black people have suffered here in America for the past 400 years. There's no secret. But at the same time and in the same breath, I'd have to say that we now have an opportunity to become greater than we have ever been before in history.
Absolutely.
Right? So it requires us to put away this mindset, this I need somebody to do something for me mindset. You have to see the value inside of your own self. And just like we addressed earlier, when you don't see any value inside of yourself, you start looking for things that you think are valuable to add on to you. And as long as you have those things on you, now you're valuable. So that's what you was addressing that earlier, saying that you felt like when you stepped out in public, you had to have on some type of designer because it says, this is who I really am.
Yeah.
I'm really a person that can afford these types of things. Right, well, what type of cognitive dissonance are you trying to resolve?
I'm trying to tell you.
Opposite
Don't
of
get
what
it
you
twisted.
thinking.
I'm working, but guess what? You see that?
I got money.
Yeah.
See my shoes? These shoes mean I got money, so I don't really have to do this if I don't want to.
Yeah, right.
Right? Why are you explaining that? You see my right?
Money. You
Take the shirt and stick it into the front to expose the symbol. I'd be confused. I thought you talk real heavy against homosexuals and everything. You do know that Gianni Versace was a homosexual. Gucci was a homosexual. All the designer houses that you patronize, these were homosexual. I thought you was against that type of stuff. You might need to reconsider some of your values if that's the case.
Well, you're not reading, you don't take on information.
Yeah,
niggas don't know none of that information. Oh man, what you talking about? I don't know about that.
You don't know nothing about that.
Giovanni, huh?
Yeah.
All I know is Versace.
Yeah.
Versace.
Versace. Oh man. Oh my goodness, man.
So it's very important, man. It's very important. We have to transition.
If I may add, sorry, bro.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
If I may add to the when you asked the question of being taught against the simplicity of wealth in here, one of the concepts and the conversations we had last week that got a lot of backlash on my wall on Instagram was college. Mm-hmm. Now, for everybody, college is a great tool. I agree with that across the board. It's a great tool when used properly. You know,
when used properly.
college is a great tool when used properly. You don't take a hammer and use it for a microphone. It's a tool. I'm not going to use a microphone and try to use it as a hammer. So it's a tool that's used properly. But when you say get taught against that, a lot of us that get sent to college when you poor, when you come from a poor environment, and I'm not only talking about poor financially, I'm talking about poor psychologically too, poor spiritually, you know, and then you go off to a college that already has a culture within itself. Now, if you're not going over there strong and understand exactly what I'm going to do there, then like our boys say all the time, you know, any win will feel favorable to you. You know what I'm saying? So you'll join a bunch of little sororities and all these type of things, just trying to be a part of anything.
Lose yourself.
Versus actually, my understanding of college should be, I'm going there to attain some type of skill set. And with these skill set, when they give me some type of credentials that I can come back home and bring it to my community or my family's business and build them up more so. Versus what we're taught is to go to college and obtain these skills and then move off to somewhere else in the hell with your family, what you built stuff with, and go and get a job into predominantly white institutions. That's what typically happens. So guess what? Whatever wealth that you went to go build for them, you took it away from your family and your community. So these are the teachings that you're taught against. How we're bringing that back is because, one, straight up, we homeschool, we teach our own kids. So if you're going to, we teaching our own kids. So the ideology that we want them to have is going to come from us. It's not going to come from what's taught in the public school, right? That's already one. So if they do go to college, they already have a stronger foundation. We talk about poor. They already have a stronger foundation mentally, psychologically, spiritually. So they're going to understand that concept. Okay, I'm going to go out here to this institution and obtain some information that my peoples did have. But guess what? I'm going to bring it back to them. Now they have it. And they're going to keep on building. So as opposed to, I'm going to go and obtain this information and I'm going to just go create a life for my own self. So you just took the wealth away. So when you say taught against the wealth of building up we're educated against the simplicity, it's very simple. Imagine if you had 10 kids and you all sent them out. You already been building your business for 10 years and you built your business up to making $1 million. Now you got 10 kids, but now you need more information. Like, let's just say you about to go into the logistics aspect of things and you need the kids to go and learn what that means to go and just start a logistic company, whether it's farming, you know what I'm saying, whatever you're gonna be doing. And I send the kids off and they come and bring the information back. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand how you know what I'm saying, that compound on top of each other. First is everybody go do what they want. Everybody go get their own apartments. They all live alone.
Everybody suffer,
you know
individually.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then you get these Tyler Perry stories, I could do bad by myself. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You could do bad by yourself? What? Okay, you can. Why not come together and do good?
And then we talk about the ROI. So you sending 10 kids off to college that you're going to have to fund with no return income on sending them off.
Very little.
Just funding.
Yeah.
So imagine that ROI of sending them off, gathering that information, and they return, and like you said, bringing that return on information.
That's the issue.
Return on income, return on information.
The return on information. You know, I like that.
That's my issue right there. That's my issue of it. That it's not being brought back. You know what I'm saying? And utilized. You take it and you go give it to, like you said, what do you call it? Predominantly white institutions. This is what you're giving it. You give all your expertise to. Now your family's still poor. You got some family members, kids, don't even come back and visit their parents 10, 12, 15 years. Just leave their parents in the dump and they done created a life for themselves way outside of that. So it's like, okay, now what you think your kid is going to do? The same thing that you did.
Cycle of darkness.
So it just continues. It continues. So yeah, that's the issue that I have when I hear about college, especially coming from poor. And I'm not only talking financially, I'm talking spiritually, psychologically, mentally poor. So
Facts.
that's when we say educated against it.
That wealth, that adage that says that wealth disappears in 3 generations, it proves to be so true in this context, because what happens is you have a generation of people that work really hard. They work really hard. Sometimes they're not very educated, but they have really hard work ethic.
A lot of times.
And they build a foundation, an economic base with their work ethic, right?
Oh, got the Claude Anderson, okay.
So now what happens is this generation, this strong generation, they work so hard and they provided this economic base for this next generation that the next generation doesn't have to work so hard, right? So what happens is the second generation, they use the economic base that the first generation built. But the first generation didn't put any parameters. They didn't put any restrictions. They didn't put any rules and regulations on how the economic base gets used. So what ends up happening is that second generation, they use the base, but they don't replenish the base. So by the time the third generation come, they grew up in an environment of entitlement. They grew up in an environment of privilege, and now they just spoil, right? Which resets everything, and now you're starting over from square one, where you raise up a generation that struggles, right? And they are hardened, and they've built resiliency from their struggle, but now that cycle has to start over because there's no more wealth left behind. And we're looking to end that. We're looking to stop that. You say, well, you should let the kids do what they want to do. They can do what they want to do within the plan of what we got going on.
Oh, facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Because somewhere along the line, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. We can't keep going the way that we've been going. We can't keep doing things as a collective the way that we've been doing things. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable, right? You got all of these baby boomers that's getting ready to retire. Who finna take care of them? You taught your kids to take care of themselves. You taught them to do for themselves. You didn't teach them to take care of anybody. So what's going to happen? All of these baby boomers, this silver tsunami that's getting ready to take place, all of these businesses that these baby boomers own, that their children want absolutely nothing to do with, because they want to go and live their life. They want to go to college, live the 4-year university life, go and get a job in New York, and live in the big city. They don't want nothing to do with your plumbing company. They don't want nothing to do with your restaurant. They don't want nothing to do with your landscaping business. They don't want nothing to do with none of that. None of it. Not to mention, your health is failing, and you didn't raise them to take care of you. So what they gonna do? Stick you in a nursing home? Stick you in a nursing home, right? Because that don't make them feel good to have to take care of you. You didn't raise them to suffer in spite of inconvenience. You didn't raise them to do that. You raised them, make sure you always do what makes you happy, right? And wiping somebody else's ass don't make them happy, so they're not gonna do that.
And then to add to that, even a lot of this new generation, they not even thinking about having kids. So they think about just harvesting the wealth to themselves, just them and they spouse. So they not even think about their own generation. So it's just a downhill spiral, man, of not transferring the wealth and not even building their own legacy in a generation. Like, they don't see how you not having kids gonna affect you. Or not even affect you, affect your name, affect your legacy.
Population about to go extinct. We about to go extinct. We already below the birth rate. Y'all know that, right? Yeah. The birth rate has to be at 2.1 children per woman to sustain itself. I believe America is at like 1.9. Yeah. So 13 of the largest emerging economies in the world right now are in Africa. And in those, guess what the birth rate is in those countries? What? 4.1 children per woman. In places like Nigeria. So the average woman is having 4 and 5 kids. Right? It used to be like that over here in America. But, you got all this, everybody's so selfish. Everybody wants what's best for them. Nobody wants to plan for the future. Nobody wants to, I know so many people in our age group that have just said, I don't want kids.
That's crazy.
I don't want kids, right? So you're talking about things like legacy. Well, that word doesn't necessarily apply to somebody that's not planning for something beyond themselves.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They go through the
That's
YOLO.
crazy.
You're right. Everybody's screaming YOLO. You only live once, so you want the most experiences that you can get. So you take all of the money and you spend all of the money, and you constantly increasing your lifestyle and inflating your lifestyle and spending money that you don't have and living off of credit, and then want to complain about the way that things are and that nothing's fair, and like Rudek blaming Trump for everything, and when in actuality it's your own doing. It's your own doing.
Against yourself.
You're against your own self. It's a generational genocide. We taking our own selves out.
For real, the hell with who we support or whatnot. What about this information that we telling you?
What about that? You ain't gonna go do research on it. You can't read that good.
Yeah.
So it's I digress, y'all. I digress. We're gonna keep building. We're gonna keep working, and we're gonna keep delivering this information to people. Now, what you do with the information once you receive it, it's up to you. It's up to you. But before you leave, I want you to understand this: more money won't save you. It won't. More money won't save you if you keep bringing the same person to every opportunity. So stop chasing the next opportunity and start becoming the person that's capable of governing it, of producing the opportunity. The goal is to build something that lasts beyond you. So always remember, question what you believe, govern yourself by principle, and build something bigger than yourself. This is the Revenue Revelation. We out.